If you want to connect multiple Salesforce orgs to a single Marketing Cloud instance, you can start by checking out my previous two videos where I talked about the Marketing Cloud multi-org connector and using a central Salesforce org with the Marketing Cloud single org connector. In this video, I'm going to cover another approach that doesn't involve using Marketing Cloud Connect at all. Let's go ahead and get started. In this approach, instead of using either of the Marketing Cloud connectors, you would use a middleware tool like MuleSoft or something similar to connect Marketing Cloud to any Salesforce orgs in your landscape that you want to connect it to, and also any non-Salesforce systems. So if you have a third-party system that has data that's relevant for Marketing Cloud, you can connect that as well. And you would use the middleware tool to build any connectors you need to build, handle any data transformation, and then handle the exchange of data back and forth between systems. The biggest benefit to this approach is that out of all of the options that I'm covering in this video series, this is the most flexible way to exchange data between systems. You get to decide what data gets sent where, you get to handle all of the formatting and transformation within your middleware tool, you get to decide what integration patterns you want to use and what's going to trigger each integration between each system. And you can also use this approach with non-Salesforce systems. So if you do have systems in your landscape that you want to integrate with Marketing Cloud that are not Salesforce, this is a great way to do it. But that said, just like every other approach, there are some trade-offs. The biggest challenge to this approach is that while it may be the most flexible, it is also the most complex to build and to maintain. And the reason for that is because if you're using either of the standard Marketing Cloud connectors, there is a bunch of functionality that's already built out for you. Those connectors know when to call which API for any action. So I want to start a journey from something in CRM, the connector knows how to handle that. If you're using this approach, you have to figure out which APIs to call at what times, and you have to build all of your own connectors. You also have to build out your own logic for things like error handling and retrying to send data if there is an error. And you have to figure that out for each system that you're integrating with. So that is probably the biggest consideration. One of the other things you're going to want to keep in mind is that this is going to require additional investments, more than likely. So if you don't already have a middleware tool, you're going to need to purchase one. And something else that I haven't mentioned yet is that you have all of this contact data coming in from all of these different systems. Some of them are Salesforce, some of them are not Salesforce. They've got different IDs, and Marketing Cloud is not going to know how to handle those if you send that data directly to Marketing Cloud. So what you're going to want to do is use an MDM tool to synchronize all of your contacts, make sure you're removing duplicates, make sure you've got a consistent way of creating IDs for them, and then send them into Marketing Cloud, which adds some additional complexity and costs into the approach overall. Okay, so if there are that many complexities, why would you even consider an approach like this at all? Well, believe it or not, but there are actually two scenarios where it could be a good choice. The first one is if you have a big variety of Salesforce and non-Salesforce systems throughout your IT landscape that all need to send data into Marketing Cloud. Using a middleware tool to combine data from all of those systems is going to allow you to do things that you're not going to be able to do with either of the Marketing Cloud connectors. And the second time you would use this approach is if you already have a middleware tool and you already have an MDM tool and your organization maybe has a policy that says all of your integrations are centrally managed using those tools, you've got a team in place that can support them, that's going to cut down on some of those additional investments that I mentioned earlier because you already have those tools in your landscape. And in that case, you should stick with your organization's standards and you should build the integrations that way. But in every other scenario, using one or the other of the two Marketing Cloud Connect options is going to be a better approach for you. So make sure you're checking out the other videos in this series to learn more about those. And if you found this content to be helpful, make sure to like and subscribe. And I'm looking forward to seeing you next time.